Our next panel for the afternoon, Outdoors. The Outerverse and NFTs, a new creator marketplace for the outdoors. This is Robin Thurston, Kevin Chou, and Amy Barnett. Let's give them a big round of applause and welcome.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's not raining yet, but it looks like it might shortly. Let's see. So first of all, I'm honored to see all of you and to have my co-hosts here with me today. Amy Barnett is our Chief Content Officer at Outside, and Kevin Chou at Superlayer is our partner helping us build out the Outerverse. So we basically have three goals today with all of you here. We want to help you understand what the Outerverse is and what we're doing. We're going to talk about how we believe it's going to impact sustainability and DEI in the outdoor category. And then also to talk about the partnership with Superlayer and how they sort of see this as an on-ramp to a whole new set of consumers into Web3. So that's what we're going to try to do. So first, let me just cover the Outerverse at a high level, and then I'm going to ask them to weigh in on their thoughts on the Outerverse. So our goal with the Outerverse was really to leverage the infrastructure and technology of Web3 to create and incentivize people to get outdoors on a regular basis. And so how exactly are we going to do that? Well, every project, so the first part, and you're going to hear us say this a few times, everybody please go to outside.io to check out what is the Outerverse, what does our roadmap look like. You're going to hear that more than once. But essentially, we wanted to start with a creator marketplace where we could bring our influencers and our own brands onto the platform, as well as partner brands. We're working with people like Shram and Brooks Running and others that wanted to get into the space and help them onboard into really this new evolving technology. But if I give a very specific example of the Outerverse and how it connects to getting people outdoors, most people are aware here that NFT really has three sort of main core functions today. So the first is it's a utility, second is that it's community building, and third is that it's a collectible in some form. And so as an example, we own a property called Warren Miller Films. Some people might be familiar with it. It's sort of the first ski movie of the season. Historically, we haven't essentially connected to those customers in a really unique way. So what we're doing this year is we're offering the ticket sales, which we do around the country, as an NFT. It will have collectability to it. It will allow you to get into the theater. But more importantly, we're then connecting it to how many days skiing that you go during the year, and then giving additional benefits for the number of days that you ski, or unlocking additional things that you're going to get through the year. And this is the type of project that we're sort of linking all the way through, as well as what we're doing with partner projects. So hopefully that gives you a little overview of the Outerverse to start. I'll let Amy and Kevin weigh on their thoughts on the Outerverse, and then we'll jump into sustainability and DEI.
Well, excited to be here, excited to be talking about this launch. And I love the fact that it kind of represents the values that, that this company has put forth and is really living every single day. This is a value-based company, and our core mission is to get everyone outside. It is very simple, it is inherently inclusive, and it is being driven through the Outerverse by blockchain technology. So we're really able, via our Web3 ecosystem, to give opportunities to the entire diverse and inclusive community that we are establishing in the outdoor industry at our company, and broadly speaking, we're giving them access to be a part of our community, to be a part of this sort of universe of people who are excited about getting outside, who want access to get outside, and who will be sort of rewarded for being the first people in our community as we continue to layer value into the Outerverse Passport, which is our large-scale offering that's coming soon. If you go to outside.io, you will find out more information about that. So I'm really excited about all of that and happy to welcome you guys into our universe.
Kevin, tell us what attracted you to wanting to work with Outside and really what we're doing with the Outerverse.
So I've been, it's great to be here, everyone. So my quick background is I've been building in blockchain for about 4.5 years at this point. So I started with a project called Forte, which is a game developer blockchain platform, and with Rally, which was a creator-focused project. And my passion for, and before that I built video games for 11 years. And so Robin and I have known each other for a while, and I'm incredibly passionate about the overarching trend of blockchain and how do we get the average person to understand real ownership and this opportunity to use decentralized technologies, and how do we create real world applications and benefits and utility for it. And so when Robin came and talked to me and said, hey, we're trying to get people outside, I said, you know we're talking about blockchains, right? But the vision that Robin and the Outside team have around this project of really getting this community, this audience that is a global audience of over 200 million people, to understand this technology and bring creators, bring brands, bring different media properties and audiences together, united by this vision. I thought, wow, this is an opportunity to really tie together the physical and the digital and bring in a new audience into the space. So that to me is it's really about the vision. It was about a team and a company that has been executing for over 4 years at this point. And so when we think about blockchain and for those of you that have been in the space for a number of years, you've seen a lot of projects come and talk about all the promises that they're going to make, and very few actually deliver. And Robin and the team here, I was just so excited about a real team, a real company with a very large audience and partners that have trusted them and built business with them over the last several years, getting into the space in a real way. So that's why I was excited to dive in and help on the technical side of the project.
Awesome. Thanks, Kevin. And again, have really appreciated working with SuperLayer and the team as we've gone through this project. So, next I'd sort of dive into one of our big goals at Outside is, and we've really, so just for a little bit of background on Outside, over the last 2.5 years, we've done about 20 acquisitions, and we own about 40 brands in the outdoor and active lifestyle space. Things like Yoga Journal or Ski Magazine or Backpacker, and obviously the sort of mothership of Outside Magazine as one of the biggest brands, which we rebranded the whole company as. But one of the big goals we've had is, and believe, is that the transformation in the outdoor industry and sort of leading culture in the outdoor industry has a lot to do with bringing diverse communities into the outdoors and really making it less intimidating, as well as how we think about sustainability and our big drive around how do we connect the dots of not only bringing more diversity into the outdoor category, but ultimately then helping, by those people spending time outdoors, helping them realize what the connection is to our planet, and really that quality time outdoors equals and translates into people being like, wow, I need to make sure that I'm doing the right things for the planet. And so those are two big goals of ours. When we were thinking about setting up the Outerverse, we really wanted to have a direct connection on both of those fronts to not only the influencers, the brands, but ultimately how it tied back into the reward mechanisms for these communities. And so maybe I'll just briefly ask Amy and Kevin to talk about how they see this a little bit and kind of what some of the things we're doing to make sure that we're engaging these communities as we kind of move forward with the Outerverse.
As I mentioned before, it was really important to us to lean into the inherent inclusivity in our core mission, get everyone outside. And Web3 is a really exciting way to do so because it really represents the democratization of creativity. It allows a much broader pool of people the opportunity to share their creative pursuits, to fund their creative pursuits, to return value to the communities that support them. And it's just, by lowering the barriers to entry, it just creates this opportunity for this massive pool, to be able to, make a living, frankly, in the outdoor industry, and to bring everything that they're trying to do, their values and their creativity, their content, their sport, whatever it is, again, to their communities. And so as we were launching our creator platform, which is coming soon, again, go to outside.io to find out more, we really wanted to make sure that we launched not just with the creators with whom we've already had a long-standing relationship via our many decades-old and iconic brands, but we also wanted to make sure that the community that we launched with, the creators, represented the diversity of voices that are in the outdoor industry, and also some new voices with some unique perspectives that we may not, or those people who've been in the outdoor industry for some time may not have heard before. For example, one of our creators is a woman named Brittany Pierre, who found financial freedom via crypto and NFTs, and is now using her wealth to create generational wealth, for Black Americans. Or a creator named Malik Martin, who has done a couple of films in partnership with Yeti, and is now very focused on giving underrepresented youth access to nature. So, I'm just personally proud to be part of a company that isn't just sort of talking about all the things that we're going to do, with regard to DEI and sustainability as well, but really, walking the talk. Maybe I'll let you talk about sustainability. You want to take that?
Well, so before Kevin, you dive in. So obviously, when we came to you on, sort of building this out, we had a lot of discussions about which blockchains were most environmentally friendly and why that was so important to us. And so obviously we selected Solana for that reason. Maybe you could talk a little bit about our decision there and the impact, and then I can sort of tie it into how we're actually going to be not only giving back to some of those organizations, but how we see it sort of going forward.
Yeah, I think I think we're in a unique time in blockchain technology. So when I started building in 2017, really Ethereum was the one smart contract platform that's with CryptoKitties that got started with NFTs way back in the day, and frankly the scalability, the number of transactions that you could do per second, we know all those issues with Ethereum. But one of the other big challenges is, of course, proof of work and the environmental impact that first generation of technology has on the space. And so when Robin came to me, I said, we're actually at a really interesting time where there's new, kind of the next generation of smart contract platforms are coming to market. And there's a few to work with. But one of the things that was really attractive about Solana was their network design and the energy efficiency of that smart contract platform. And so the ability to handle something at the scale of which take a Warren Miller movie drop and NFTs, the ability to use those, collect them and use them. That type, to handle that potential type of scale, to have something like Solana be available, plus the much better environmental impact of it, that was something that was really exciting. And we said, let's go figure out how to go build this on Solana. And that was, gosh, what, 6+ months ago. And I think Solana, with its, it's now, depending on the day, the number 2, NFT by volume. And so it's evolved quite a bit. There's other great projects from Magic Eden to Metaplex and a few others. So I think really building within that ecosystem and doing something really special, really connecting the values and the mission of what Outside is doing with what kind of Solana's sustainable platform and more energy efficient platform is doing. I think that was just such a natural partnership.
And in addition to that, just to add on, and so again, SuperLayer helped us tremendously in sort of evaluating this and making sure that it was going to essentially meet our criteria for where we want to go. On top of that, we wanted to basically go to market and say not only that we recognize that Solana, for each transaction, if you buy an NFT, it's about it's the equivalent of about 3 Google searches from an energy perspective. We wanted to make it essentially carbon neutral. So on top of that, we have a whole program that we bought into basically to make all of, not just the outside NFTs that we're going to drop, as well as I'm going to talk about the passport in a minute, but also all of our partners we offset so that they would be carbon neutral, and actually at the beginning we'll be carbon positive because we bought so much of an offset that we'll be positive, and on an ongoing basis we'll be doing that. So that was really, really important, not only for us, but the brands we work with, the influencers that we work with, so that they had confidence going to market, being in the outdoor space, that we had really invested the time thinking through these pieces specifically. Which sort of brings me to the next point, which is our, the first initial project we're dropping. Obviously, we have the Bedrock badge, which I think there are some signs outside around on. This was a free badge to really test out the platform for us to start interacting. Obviously, we're doing a bunch of special things around what's called the Bedrock badge. But next week, we'll launch our passport, and the passport is really meant to be your early access as an early adopter to our platform, to get access to all the brand drops that we're going to do with, again, many of the notable brands in the outdoor industry, as well as our influencers. So the people that hold the passport will get early access to those programs. But what's important about it, and what I'd love Amy and Kevin to comment on a little bit, is that for all of the outside specific brands, and again, as I said, we have about 40 brands in the portfolio, we'll do drops, as I mentioned, Warren Miller, others. We're giving 20% of the proceeds in the initial mint and 5% of the ongoing proceeds back to, initially we have 5 organizations that we're equally sort of doling that out to. And so we'll be doing that for all of the outside drops, and then we'll be working with the influencers on. Some of them have their own charity programs that they want to make sure that they're giving back to, so they'll give a portion of their drops back on our platform to that. But really, the passport for us was like a way for to give our sort of fans, followers in the early days the chance to kind of be early adopters into our ecosystem for all of the brand drops. And we have 40 brands signed up now. We have, I think 30 influencers, and we're just going to keep adding to that list over time. And again, you can see the roadmap that we have today at outside.io, so you don't forget it. But let me, this is going to become a little joke, isn't it? But I'd love perspective from you, Amy and Kevin, on the passport and kind of how you think it fits into this Web3 economy.
Well, I want to say a little more about some of the nonprofit organizations that we're going to be giving back to, with all of our with a portion of the profits that we have on our creator platform. But the organizations are just reflective of the values of the company, right? So there's organizations like Project Earth that has a mandate to put forth legislation that brings awareness to climate change, or the Oath, that is dedicated to making the outdoors much more inclusive. So, it's just a real source of pride, I think, that we're able to not just, launch this passport, that again, gives the first passport holders entree into a community that's only going to get larger, and a token that's only going to grow more valuable as we layer more benefits into it. But the passport holders and everybody who's a part of the outside community is also a part of this values-based giving back that again reflects our core values of DEI and sustainability.
What I think is super cool is the sheer number of partnerships and utility that the passport will give access to. So I think when we think about the crypto space over the last several years in the NFT, there's really a lot of work to kind of create a big bang, for a lot of projects, and in some ways we're sort of used to in this space, or sort of a big bang and then sort of a whimper afterwards. And I think with Outside, what I'm so excited about, and you can see it on outside.io, is all of the different brands and partnerships that are coming. And so it's not just like one category. What I'm really excited about is that everything from Brooks as from shoes to SRAM to Jack Johnson's event to all these other different Warren Miller, as Robin touched on. There's just every month something happening after the passport. Actually, multiple things in a month. And so I think what's really exciting about this project and really bringing a community together that cares about the planet, that cares about being outside and having an active, healthy lifestyle, while caring about the planet and sustainability, is this idea that there's always something happening, right? And I think that's really important in this whole space of really continuing to deliver on value and have a reason for that community to always, there's always something going on, there's always something to check out. And I think that's what I'm really excited about for the benefits that the passport is going to offer.
Awesome. Well, why don't we do this? One is there any questions in the crowd? We got about 4 minutes left, so I want to make sure if there's any questions, we get to questions. Please raise your hand and feel free to throw something at us. Anyone? There's one over there. So I would say it's still TBD, but it'd be around $250 for the passport, and we intend on dropping 10,000 of them next week. So roughly in that, and it will be Solana. Any other questions? Here?
Have you thought about tapping into regenerative agriculture or sort of like the Kiss the Ground movement or anything else? You talked about ways to improve the outdoor, get people outdoors, but then help people maybe through purchasing decisions with like CPGs and food and other things contribute to regenerative initiatives?
Yeah, so maybe a couple things on that front. The first is that initially, essentially the marketplace outside.io that we're launching, we're curating all of the brands and partners, and obviously heavily curating the partnerships that we have both on the sustainability DEI side. In the long run, and I'll talk about the rewards piece in a second too, but like in the long run, we want to open up that marketplace so that any creator, any brand can not only go on and publish and mint on that platform, as well as have a secondary marketplace for them to sell in the outdoor category, but then also direct where those funds go. So like initially we're very highly curated, but in the long run we see this as like the consumer coming on, saying they're going to access a brand new brand that just did a drop on the platform, and then that consumer gets to allocate where does that residual benefit go to which organization. I think on the reward side, which is a really big part for us, so I use the Warren Miller example of actually rewarding you for like, okay, so maybe on your first day of skiing, because we've connected to your Garmin device or we've connected to Epic Pass or Altera, we're giving you maybe an NFT that you wouldn't get unless you did that first day of skiing. Same thing after 5 or 10 days. I think when it comes to other things that are good for the environment or good for you and your health, we see in the long run all those things being tacked on from a rewards perspective and unlocking rewards for you that also then translate back into projects that sort of maybe create this continuous ecosystem of positive impact things, both for sustainability and DEI, as well as your own personal health, which I would say is obviously I fundamentally believe, I won't comment for them, but I fundamentally believe that many of the physical and mental health issues that we have globally have to do with too much screen time. And so our goal is to counteract that, period. Like that is we want you to have actual experiences. We don't want you to have a VR experience. Like that is not our goal to get you to sit in your living room. We have 1 minute left, so other questions? Go ahead.
Yep. My question is about like people who have kids, and I always want to get my kids outside. I suffer from too much screen time myself. My kids do too. And when I do look for activities to do with the kids, national parks comes up as one thing. They have some activities like fourth graders get into all parks for free for the summer and stuff like that. So it would be, I don't know, just curious if you guys are thinking about parents and kids at all.
Yeah, so
what's the target audience?
I'll use like one great example. So we own some cycling events in Colorado, New Mexico, and about 3 years ago, we basically realized that the percent of kids under 18 had essentially dried up in these cycling events versus 10 years before that. And we opened it up for free registration for under 18. We just said, it's normally a $150 event. We just opened it up for them. I think what you will see from us is a lot of activation, not only in helping people understand what activities in their local areas they can do, but also like how do we make it more accessible, again, not just to kids, but more communities. Like how do we get in front of them? And I think that's like one of our big goals on the site as we kind of think forward is that type of activation. And ultimately, on the screen time thing, how do you actually reward your kids for spending time outdoors, maybe to even unlock that screen time in the future? Yep.
Okay, awesome.
All right,
Let's give him a big hand.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.